Today is the day officially where Auston Matthews has been named head or captain, of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And there was a lot of people in attendance and some crazy quotes to go over. We're going to break that down as well as discuss what this means for the Leafs going forward, because John Tavares had some pretty wild, not wild, but some very interesting things to say. And he got emotional on the panels. There's a lot to break down on this interesting time for a press conference, which was a Wednesday afternoon. But Darius, the days officially came. We did make a video on this yesterday, but wow, what a day. What's up, Sean? What a day, and what an interesting press conference. And there's a lot of stuff to break down. We're going to have videos breaking it down. We're kind of going to go over. I want to get all your guys' thoughts on this, but what an interesting thing. And even after the fact, we got some Mitch Marner stuff. We got some Yanni Hakanpää stuff. Probably not going to cover that fully in the stream. The stream is focused on Auston Matthews being named the head. I keep saying head, the head captain. We'll go with the head captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
The head of the team, yeah.
Head of the team. And Craig Berube also made an appearance. There was a lot of people here today. Tannenbaum, everybody.
Yeah, Craig Berube does not smile. That was one thing I learned today, that's for sure. So that's going to be fun to see this season. But yeah, Auston Matthews, 26th captain in Maple Leafs history. The first U.S.-born captain, too, which I didn't even realize. He's the only or the second captain behind Matt Sundin that is not Canadian. So that was pretty cool, too. So congrats to Auston Matthews. Today is about him and John Tavares. But yeah, some interesting stuff we're going to get into and kind of read into, maybe a little bit too much for sure. But I thought there were some really interesting quotes. And one thing that stood out to me first and foremost is John Tavares looked a little emotional and at the same time looked like he meant for this to happen. It did not look like, I mentioned this in a video yesterday where I thought, some people were saying they're saving face, that they actually stripped John Tavares of the captaincy. I believe full-heartedly that he gave the captaincy to Auston Matthews after conversations where he went, you know what, it's his team. It's going to happen anyway. Why not do it now? So I feel like that actually happened, and it's gonna be a fun season. Things are different, right? It just feels fresh. Like, will things actually change? I don't know. We have to see, right? But it just feels a little more fresh. So I'm excited now for October to come, because obviously we're mid-August and news has been dead too. But it's nice that we got this. It kind of random in the middle of a Wednesday morning, but nice to see. It was good to see.
Yeah, it definitely leaves for a lot of interpretation from some of the things they said, and specifically from Brad Living after the fact. He had they were asking some interesting questions that were not related to Auston Matthews, but yeah, it seemed like John Tavares. We'll get on all the quotes here in a minute, but it seemed like John Tavares almost had this planned, because from the time of the news a couple days ago on Monday to today, I don't know if he would have been able to get all of that going in the 2 days. I think he had it planned. He had his kids wearing Matthews jerseys. Everything seemed put together. What's up, Shane? Is Tavares keeping a letter? I believe he is going to be the assistant captain.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to be the assistant captain, and then the rest they're going to figure out, aka Mitch Marner, they're going to figure out after. Who do you think will be wearing the assistant captaincy with Tavares this season? You can dive in all that. Maybe Marner, they'll probably do that. I don't know. It's very interesting given the whole season, but I don't know. A lot of quotes, and I think we should just start, and let's just go into some of the things that were happening, because it was a handful, a very big handful. So it started with, of course, Marner, Morgan Riley, Gilmore, all these guys, Wendell Clark, Keith Pelly, Laren Tannenbaum, a lot of the higher-up guys in MLSC, and, of course, Craig Berube. They were in the front row for the Matthews presser as it began to get underway. And then, of course, if you missed the press conference, we'll break it all down, but if you didn't, you obviously saw a lot of things. So Brad Living said John was on board from the start. He didn't come here to be the captain. He came here to win the Stanley Cup. He knew this day would eventually come of him obviously giving up the captaincy to Auston Matthews. And that's kind of what he spoke about during the actual press conference was, hey, it's Matthews. It was Matthews' time, and it's like passing of the torch for Auston.
Yeah, it is. And John Tavares, when he had the chance to speak after this quote from Brad Living, he said that when he came to Toronto, he wanted to win a Stanley Cup. His goal wasn't to be the captain. He didn't sign in Toronto because he wanted to be the captain. It's nice that he became the captain, but he signed to win a Stanley Cup. And he said that he knew at the time that eventually, when he was on the team still, Auston Matthews would be the captain. He knew this day was going to come, right? And I think we all did too. I thought this day was going to come a lot sooner. I thought this day was going to come in 2018, but obviously it didn't. But yeah, we're here at this point in time. Tavares knew that this was going to happen. He helped Matthews, I think, along the way become the player he has become, because Matthews doesn't really have to change anything now that he's captain. He is the captain, right? Like, he's named captain because of who he is and the seasons he puts together and the pro that he is. So, it's really cool. The other thing that I thought was really cool was Tavares had a conversation with Brad Living about passing on the captaincy, and then Tavares himself called Matthews in late July, so I guess just a couple of weeks ago, to let him know the news. I think that's pretty cool, instead of, you know, somebody from the organization calling you and being like, hey, you're the captain now, which is great still. But I think it means so much more when the current captain calls you and says, hey, I'm passing this on to you for these reasons, right? So I thought that was pretty cool that he mentioned that as well. And they kind of, you know, dove into what that conversation looked like. And I know a lot of people are going to, you know, scoff at all this and be like, hey, nothing's really going to change. But there is a little bit of change now. There's a new coach, new captaincy, right? He's the leader. I think he's more of an emotional leader. He seemed nervous today out there in front of everybody, right? Which I don't get that vibe normally when he's in a press conference. So he seemed very nervous, but I think, you know, the nerves are going to calm down. He's going to settle into the role nicely. So I thought it was cool, man. Like, first press conference in a while where I was like, this is a good thing, right? Like the exit interviews and all that we watch, like you're almost not hate watching them, but a lot of people hate watch them. And then you're watching them to see, you know, what went wrong and kind of dive into what they say. This felt good. This felt right. So some good news finally in Leafs land.
Yeah, I think Tavares and Riley and Marner. I think obviously Riley gets the A. I don't know. There's a lot, and that'll be something we discuss as the season.
Yep.
I mean, Brad Treliving, said he was going to be giving some more info on that as the season approaches.
All we know is Tavares is going to be an assistant captain 100%.
Yeah.
He said that.
So
the
really,
rest
does the dynamic change that much? Not really, but it's still the good. It's still a good thing to do. Brad Treliving commending Matthews for his leadership. The man he has become. I couldn't think of a better person. Yeah, that was kind of the big thing that Brad Treliving said. He was like, you guys don't see the work that he puts in every day, etc., and how he really, I guess, over the past however many years, developed into obviously one of the best players in the NHL, best goal scorer, but now mature enough to be the captain, which is very interesting. Dubas was here. John would still be the captain. He wouldn't strip him to see. I don't know. I definitely think John. I mean, there is a world where he didn't want to give it up, and he kind of just. But I think at this point he wants to win a cup, and it was time to. They weren't winning under John Tavares in the 6 years, so I mean,
it was time. It was all leading to this. I think, in my personal opinion, I don't know how other people feel. Leave a comment if you want, but in my personal opinion, it was always leading to this. And I think if Tavares wasn't thinking that, then he was a little short-sighted, because like it was always coming to this, and he said that he knew that, right? So I'm not going to take that away from him. Tavares did say that. It was always coming to this. It's been Auston Matthews' team from the beginning, before John Tavares was here, right? He just was too young, right? So we're at this point now. It's always been his team, I think.
If you're in the chat, just type yes or no. Are you happy that Auston Matthews has replaced John Tavares as the captain? Just type yes or no. I feel like most people agreed it was time. So just say yes or no. I'm very curious to see where your what all the genuine or the general consensus is. My Auston Matthews jersey didn't have A. Now I can upgrade to the C. I might have to get a new one as well. Rip Darius, rip the jersey.
Unfortunately,
use the back of it anyways.
Yeah, I usually show off the back, but that is not an A on the John Tavares jersey. It is a C. So I'm going to have to get an Auston Matthews one now, I guess. I was actually going to get a Max Domi jersey, but I think we might have to get an Auston Matthews one.
Maybe I'll get the Domi one. I already have a Matthews one back there.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe a William Nylander too. I was thinking that, but I mean, Matthews is captain now. You kind of got to upgrade. I got his rookie jersey there too. So we gotta get some upgrades this year.
Yes, no one's going to care who the captain is if the Leafs win. It'll just be trivial. Yeah, I think ultimately the Leafs need to win, but you know, in every single cup run or every single championship run, whatever sport it is, like there's things that go into it. And maybe we're looking back at this and saying, hey, this wasn't the reason the Leafs made a good run, but it was part of the reason. Every little thing matters, especially with Craig Berube at the helm. He looks very sad. But I feel like that's just how he always looks. Craig Berube, he just looks. I was like, this is absurd.
That guy does not smile. He just does not want to. I don't know what it is.
Brad Treliving wasn't really either. John Tavares' kids were wearing Auston Matthews sweaters, so shout out. I mean, like it was the most genuine thing I've seen in a while. Matthews was emotional about it, or not Matthews. Well, I guess both of them. Matthews was more nervous, but Tavares was more emotional reading off of his script. Nick needs glasses. My thing was covering the chat, so. No glasses. 2020, baby. Happy to see Matthews as captain. We are cup bound. Yeah, Chris, that is the optimistic side of it. But
that's what I'm looking for this year, I think. I'm sick and tired of the negativity. Let's Leafs are the cup. Are they good enough to win? I don't know, but I hope that they do. And I hope that, I think they're a really good team. I think they're a better team than last year, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this year. Just so much is different. A lot of people say there isn't, but there is, right? Like the mental aspect of the game with Craig Berube, I think that's going to change. The fact that Auston Matthews is now the leader, yes, you're just switching a letter on the jersey, but it's his team. Like that's a change. Like if they win the Stanley Cup, John Tavares doesn't get it first now. Auston Matthews does. It's his team. It's a change, right? So I'm excited to watch the regular season for the first time in like 8 years. Honestly, it's been a long time.
Even though every single summer around this time, we all start to miss the pain of the Toronto Maple Leafs and hockey in general. Because now we're only less than around 2 months away from the regular season starting. But let's dive into some of the more quotes here. We have some interesting ones for you. I don't know why that looks so bad, but that's fine. I remember after he let me know, I told him I was shaking. I had chills for him to call me and let me know he wanted to pass. The captaincy was a huge honor. So Darius, huge honor. I'm going to make this bigger because I don't know why it looks so bad. But what are your thoughts on this one? Very nice of Auston to say that, of course, and we all kind of figured that. But for him to say he has chills was a nice treat for the fans there. And
Yeah, I think John Tavares is like really a robot sometimes. Like a lot of fans say that. I keep seeing that online. I think Matthews kind of is sometimes. I feel like he's more emotional on the ice, but I think that was a really good quote. He got chills. Like it's everything you want to hear if you're a fan, right? Like he got chills. It's a tremendous honor. He's so excited to be the captain. Like I love everything about it. So it was really nice to hear, right? The chills thing. He mentioned it a couple times. Like he had chills at the press conference when Tavares called him to, like, apparently Tavares called him and just said, I love everything about your game. Like he just like went off on all these nice things to say about Auston Matthews. And then he said at the end, like, you're going to be the captain. Like, that's awesome, right? Like, I love that, right? So they have a great relationship. And I think that's a good thing to build together, to come together as a team. The team, I think, personnel-wise, hasn't been good enough the last couple of years. Is the mental game there? I don't think so. I think they have to be the aggressor still. Some things might change this year, right? There's some new personnel. So we'll see. Optimistic, right? Of course. But I love the quote from Auston Matthews.
Yeah. It was a good one, and there's another one I popped up by accident, but I popped it up here. You can see this is from John Tavares. Again, when I decided to come to Toronto, it was all about great opportunity. It was all about the opportunity to win. My feelings and belief in that hasn't changed, but I do recognize the development of our young core today, specifically Auston. I feel stronger than ever in my ability to compete. So I like it by John Tavares, really showing leadership for the team, just making it even like obviously. Just making it easy on the Leafs front office, because if they wanted to do this and Tavares wasn't fully on board, it could have made it very, very difficult.
Very ugly.
Thank you, Chris. What's up, Paul? Good morning.
Yes, thank you, Chris, by the way, early. And Paul. It is a little, well, it's midday here, but
early for a stream usually.
Yeah. Oh, definitely that. Yeah.
Any updates in the back end with Yanni Hakanpää? There is some, and we'll have videos on it. Nothing too crazy, but there is definitely some updates. Too much to cover in one video and one stream, but it seems like. I don't know. I've optimism on the Yanni Hakanpää front based on his answer.
I think based on what he said today, he didn't really say much, but reading between the lines, it sounds like it's going to get done. Like at some point, like they're working through it. So it doesn't sound like it's dead. I feel like he's going to end up a Leaf. So that's interesting. Mitch Marner spoke today too. We're going to cover that later this week. Interesting comments, but we'll leave it at that. But yeah, Hakanpää, I think he's going to end up a Maple Leaf. I wasn't too sure about it if you'd asked me like a month ago, but I think he's going to end up a Maple Leaf.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Paul with the 10. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
See what you're saying. Matthew has matured considerably since the last captaincy announcement. It's well-deserved. Still, it would have been better if the team had waited for the contract to expire before passing it on. Thank you again, Paul, for the donation. Big supporter. Means the world to us. Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest question mark. I think ultimately it worked out fine, but it definitely would have made more sense if they, I mean, maybe it wouldn't have, maybe Tavares wanted to give it up. Maybe he didn't want to wait till the end of the year. Maybe a contract is coming. I think that's probably a bigger story in all of this that they didn't really ask him about necessarily, but I think that might be a big one going forward. But yeah, I think definitely I tend to agree. It would have made more logical sense.
Yeah. I think I was on board with that too. Like, I think logically speaking, when his contract was up, then you take the captaincy away, not take it away, but whatever, you pass it on to Matthews. But after seeing all of this play out, I think this is better the way this has played out, because now you're ushering him into his new role sooner before the contract expires. He's probably going to sign a contract extension. When he does, because he's not the captain, he has all this pressure on his shoulders, it's going to look better. The PR is going to look better. The fan base is going to feel differently about it. So
whoa, interrupt you. Jose with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much for dropping the Auston Matthews. And again, no message, Jose. Do you have anything you want to say to us or the chat. That's a big donation.
Yeah, send a question, a message, anything. We'll be sure to read it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for that
much.
one. Wow.
And the comment before, we did say in our first video, because it was a reaction video, that John Tavares was stripped of the captaincy. It isn't true. We said it isn't true. He passed it along to Auston Matthews, so we addressed that.
Yeah,
but anyway,
in the future video after.
I did want to mention too the actual handoff of the jersey that they brought out at the press conference. Like, that was class. Yeah. Like, that is how you do you don't just announce it in the media or anything. That is how you do a captaincy handoff or anything. Right. I thought that was pure class from the Leafs. So
Paul and Jose are legends. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you, Paul. Jose, welcome to the channel. I haven't seen you yet before, so welcome to the channel. Paul, you've been a real one for so long, so thank you so much. You've been here for months, and in most of the streams we've done, honestly, I think since playoffs. So thank you.
And we've been a bit inconsistent on it, but we're back now. We're all back from our vacations, so we'll be streaming weekly.
Everyone's on vacation, right? Everyone's taking a break. It's August, right? Things are slow down a little bit, but we're back. I'm excited. I get in this like kind of groove in August where I start watching highlights again for some reason. I'm like, oh, I'm ready for the season to start.
And then we have a captaincy announcement. Make sure to like button as well if you're new. Let's get to 30 likes. Yeah, Jose, thank you again. I mean, I'll throw this up one more time for you. It's a good. We're gonna have to. We have the loss. We're gonna have to throw a C on his jersey now for this animation. Congratulations, Auston Matthews. He deserves it. Agreed. He definitely deserves it. He's been world class.
He needs a new nickname, I think, this year probably. I don't know, right? Something's gotta give, I think. So that's gonna be fun to watch too.
What's up, Blaine?
Yeah, Blaine, welcome.
Good content. I'm new. Welcome. Yeah, we're daily Leafs videos every single day. So if this is the place to be for that. There's some other things to go over in case everyone missed them. Let's just keep going through them. Like you mentioned, Tavares said now is the time to pass it on to Auston. And again, John Tavares will wear the assistant captain next season. So this is, I know a lot of people were asking about that. He will, and then Brad Treliving said that they're going to wait on the rest of them. So they're not going to officially name Marner or I guess Riley or whoever else they decide to potentially make the assistant captain. They're not going to put him, or they're not going to make that decision today, or at least announce it today. Maybe it's made internally, but that's going to be waiting for a bit.
The other two assistant captains, yeah, that's going to be a conversation. I think Tavares like earned it just automatically, like he's going to get the A, but I think Craig Berube is going to make a decision on the rest of the personnel there. So, and also I want to give a shout out to Leafs Latest on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it at this point.
Yeah, shout out to them. They're on the ball.
Yeah, they're on the ball for Leafs News. So shout out to them every day. Yeah, it makes our life easier. Love their reporting style too. Makes everything very concise. It's easy to follow if you miss anything. Thank you, Blaine. Shout out to them. Yeah, and thank you, Blaine. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think the captaincy thing or the assistant captaincy thing, we're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, I don't know why that donation came back up. Why would John have a speech written down? I mean, so he didn't have to memorize it, I guess.
I do not. Yeah, I do not blame him at all. I wouldn't have memorized that. So I think it's better to read off of it than stumble through something.
Yeah, I think he also had some, realistically, it's probably because he had some points that he wanted to say, like some important points. So he didn't want to forget about that, especially with all the, now they're used to it. They're professionals. They're used to the whole thing. But, I mean, can't blame the guy. Can't blame the guy. Call him Captain Auston Matthews. Could do that. We're going to have to get a new emote for the channel members with Auston Matthews there. I don't know. Very fun day for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm liking the vibe. Yeah, congratulations on Auston Matthews. I mean, again, at the end of the day, he's the future of the team, and he's going to be the reason that they make or break over the next few handful of years. Specifically, the big cup window in the next couple of years, Darius. This is a big season. They're not rebuilding. They're definitely not retooling. They are just going all in here, kind of, and signing guys for contracts that might age badly, but for the next 2 to 3 years, we'll have peak Leafs hockey, hopefully, even though we've been discussing that for what's been almost a decade now.
No, we are going to, though. I mean, this year is going to be interesting because you still have all the old contracts. There's not much you can do, although I think they've upgraded the team in a lot of areas that they had to. But moving into next year, John Tavares is going to make less. I would imagine he would be back. You got Easton Cowan that might make the team, right? We don't know what's going to happen with Fraser Mitten in terms of like full-time NHL status next year. I think he can play in the AHL this year, actually. So that might be something to watch. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to check on that. But there's moving forward, it's going to be exciting to watch. And obviously Danford, who they just picked this year. I'm excited to see how he progresses in the OHL. So it's going to be a fun year on all fronts. And moving into 26, that's going to be fun too. Obviously, you want to see them win the Stanley Cup this year, but I think 25, 26 is going to be a fun year because there's going to be more youthful talent. All the guys are going to be in their prime, 28, 29 years old. And you're going to have, probably a better team put together because of the salary cap structure. Now, what happens with Mitch Marner? Should we even get into that right now? I don't know.
We can do a little discussion. We can do a little 10-minute discussion.
Said he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, Yanni, please play. I would like it. It seems like he'll play. We'll have a video on that later this week, probably. But I don't know. Mitch Marner, how we all feeling?
Just put your first. How about one word to describe Mitch Marner right now in the chat, or like your first feeling about it? Because I'm getting a little tired, and I feel like it's going to be a huge distraction this year, and I feel like it's going to get ugly. Will he stay a Leaf? I think it might be likely at this point, actually,
for this year,
in terms of an extension. Yeah,
in terms of,
I think it's likely in terms of an extension now. I'm not saying I agree with that. I just, it's the fact of the matter. But what does it look like, and do the negotiations get ugly? I feel like they will be. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I don't like the idea of him going to free agency and then re-signing with the Leafs, but I feel like that might be what happens. I just don't think and maybe he plays himself into a bigger contract. Maybe he plays himself into a smaller contract. Who really knows? I hope the captaincy doesn't influence Matthews' play. What do you guys think? Hope not. I mean, I don't think it will, but you never really know. I don't think it's that much of a change.
I don't think it will. I think you just show up. It's a letter change. You show up to the rink. You continue to do what you do. I feel like there's honestly almost no additional pressure for Auston Matthews because he's the face of the franchise anyway. So,
do you see the Nylander brothers playing the same line? No, I doubt.
No,
it.
I don't see that happening.
Nylander might be a fourth liner, but the other Nylander,
unless there's crazy injuries. But yeah, definitely fourth liner maybe.
Trade him to get something.
Who?
Marner, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I think that
it's hard in season though.
I think that ship has sailed. Hattrick HQ, shout out to them. Crazy day in Leafland. It is a very crazy day.
Very crazy. What's up, guys?
It's very crazy. Leafs may pay Mitch big money, and Johnny will take a pay cut.
Good point by Eric there that you just read out. That I've been thinking about. If Mitch Marner makes the same, like if he doesn't get a raise and he resigns, and John Tavares makes less money, I feel like it could make sense. Although I'm just still not a fan of Mitch Marner. I think he's a very skilled player, but when it comes to playoffs, his style of play does not fit the playoffs in the NHL. And he makes a lot of money. And there's guys like Braden Point who make $9 million. And I know the whole tax thing. I don't want to hear it, right? Like there's a salary cap. I don't want to hear it. So there's guys like Braden Point who make $9 million who are two-time Stanley Cup champions and made the final 3 years in a row. So he either needs to change his style a little bit in playoffs, or I don't know what the answer is, but I feel like I would feel better if he doesn't get a raise. Like if he resigns and he doesn't get a raise and John Tavares is making less, the money might make more sense, right? But I feel like he wants a raise. And that's, by all reports, it sounds like he wants a raise. So
Shane saying Mitch gets 12 a year over 8 years and Tavares gets 3.5 over 5. 12 over 8.
I'm thinking 4 over 4 for Tavares because it gives you more flexibility if you're the Leafs, with the cap going up in the shorter amount of years. And then I think Mitch gets, whether it's on the Leafs or not, I think he wants more than what he's making right now. So
Jose, what will happen to Robertson? Trade or stay? I think at this point, I have no idea.
That's okay. If he was signed, I would say he stays easy. Like there's no value in trading him, but he's not signed.
I think they might trade him.
I think it's a real possibility because he's unsigned. Although, like, he has no leverage. So if he remains unsigned, he's not going to play. And if you don't play, your value is going to plummet. So that's going to be interesting to watch. I feel like he stays. I wouldn't give up on him. I wouldn't give up on that player. But
what's up, creepy?
We'll have to see.
What happened was Auston Matthews is officially named the captain of the Leafs. My screenshots aren't working anymore, but he's named the captain of the Leafs. He was named the captain. Tavares will get 5 or 6 years and finish like Tanev will. I don't know. I think Tavares is a bit more life than Tanev. A bit less body aches. Also, hit the like button. We're super close to 30. We're 6 away. So we all like seeing numbers go up. Just click it.
Tanev plays like a stuntman.
Yeah.
Like and Tavares does not. So I feel like Tavares has more runway than that. And I feel like I would want Tavares. Obviously, I don't know if it's going to play out this way, but I feel like I would want Tavares to like end his career by retiring because he wants to, not because he's like injured and has to go on LTIR. So we'll see. Although I would be open to signing Tavares for 5 to 6 years if it means the value goes down of the contract. I mean, like the money. If that happens, then yeah, I'd be open to that. And see you later. Take a trip to the island in year 5. That's fine. But we'll see what happens with that. I think it's going to happen sooner than we think. Like maybe before the season starts.
Willie needs an
that
A
extension.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think it's very likely. They just signed the extension. I don't know if they give it to him this year. What is Hakanpää looking like? Heard that one quote. Yeah, I have optimism, but I mean, there wasn't a huge update necessarily. Thank you, Clips. Thank you, Creepy
Thank you.
Clips. Thank you for the like. Well, afternoon stream. Nice afternoon, Wednesday, middle of the week. That's when they drop all this news.
I have no idea. Let's leave it to the chat. Yes or no? Is Hakanpää going to be a Leaf on opening night?
That's a good question.
I'm going to go with yes.
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm going to go with yes, but it's weird. What a weird situation. I don't know what's taking so long.
Paul also said
records
in the playoffs, they need a scoring third line. Marner probably needs to go to allow the money for that. Plus the Tavares salary dropping off. They may do well this year, but it may take one more. Yeah, I think if they don't do well this year and if they get bounced again, they might just let Marner walk for the cap space, which would be kind of bad. But
yeah, okay. If you look forward, if Marner resigns for 12 million, let's say, yeah, Liljegren too. If Marner, resigns for 12, 13 million, something like that, right? Then you got Nyes coming up. You got to resign soon, right? You got the younger guys coming in on their ELCs, so that helps. But Matthews is still here at that big contract. Nylander just signed that big contract. You're gonna have to find a second line center because Tavares is he's gonna dwindle in the next couple of years. So what is the plan there? Like you're in cap hell again. The cap's going up every year, but you got to sign other people on the back end. You need better defensemen moving forward too, right? Like in a couple of years, Tanev's not going to be here. OEL's not going to be here. Guys like that, right? So
Tanev will be technically.
Well,
6 years
by his contract, sure.
Yeah.
That's what it says. If it was NHL 24, he would play till he was like 45 because you just don't retire. But and LTR doesn't exist, so yes. But I don't see him making it past. I don't know. We'll see.
A lot of no's. They also asked who would he replace in the lineup. I mean, I don't think it's Benoit. I think Benoit is gonna at least at the start of the season earn his spot. I mean, Hakanpää could be the seventh defenseman, or maybe Liljegren. I think we used to was kind of what we thought, but then they signed him. I thought they were going to trade him once they signed Hakanpää. Now maybe they sign Hakanpää officially over the next month, and then they trade Liljegren to make room. But I have no idea.
Here's the thing with that for me. I don't think he replaces anyone. I think he comes in whether it's an injury or depending on the team they're playing. If it's a heavier team. Playoffs, like Shane made a good point here. He's going to be a Leaf in the playoffs, but he'll spend most of the season just recovering and rehabbing. I think that's a possibility as well. Like he's the 7th, 8th defenseman. He's not going to be replacing. Like ideally, Liljegren's in the lineup every night.
Still can't stand that Liljegren contract, by the way.
Terrible. It's not terrible. I don't want to make a big deal. It's not that bad, but like it was puzzling for what he is, and it makes him easier to trade. But I don't know if that's happening. But they could really use a player like Hakanpää in the playoffs. Like I was really happy when they announced that signing. Well, they didn't. The media members did. And they still haven't announced it. But I was really happy when they made that signing because I think that they could really use a player like that in the playoffs for sure. We'll see if he shows up in the playoffs. But what is Samsonov? Samsonov went to Vegas, by the way. I'm not sure if you saw that, Nick. I thought that was very interesting.
Today?
Not today, like during free agency. But
I did, yeah, and I saw his burner account that he forgot to change to.
Yeah. Yes, we haven't mentioned that on stream yet or in a video. Wow, that was very interesting. I don't know who he was referring to there. I don't know if he was referring to himself.
I think he was referring to
Linus Ullmark.
Ullmark, yeah.
That's weird. And Ullmark kind of took a shot at him on a podcast he was on not too long ago. But it wasn't anything bad. He just said he couldn't believe that the Leafs kept him in because he was playing bad, right? That's all he said. So I wonder if this was Samsonov taking a shot back at him on Instagram instead of using his burner account, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, interesting. Don't do that. Just don't do that. But especially when you're logged into your actual account, that is verified. So funny. But we'll see. Timmins is getting waived. Timmins is not a Brad Treliving player. Timmins was a 100% Kyle Dubas signing as a project to kind of see if he can make the NHL again. And I feel like they're going to find a way to get rid of that contract somehow, because I just don't think he's in the plans at all for this team. We'll see, though, because he played a little bit last year. Low usage, but we'll see.
I think Timmins is out of there.
Yeah. I don't know when.
No
I'm sure they're working on it.
Hit the like button as well. Let's get to 40 likes. The thing is, we can't have Benoit and Hakanpää in the lineup because it creates no offense. So I'd rather Hakanpää and Lily. Riley and OEL will create back-end offense, not Benoit. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're not relying on any of those guys to create back-end offense. I mean, OEL, you are. That's why they brought him in, actually. But Riley, naturally. And then...
One thing that a lot of people aren't talking about now is because of Tanev being here, Riley should go off offensively now. I feel like Riley was playing with Lyubushkin. Let's get that clear, right? Like, this guy couldn't do anything because he was worried about who was behind him, right? So with Tanev here being responsible on defense and just, and a pretty decent puck mover too, I think Riley's going to have a really, really good season. A lot of people aren't thinking about that. I haven't seen too much of that. So I think Riley's actually going to play a lot better this season in the playoffs, everything like that, because of Tanev. And then when you go down the rest of the lineup, Benoit can't move the puck, but he's just there to be kind of that, bruiser, and he does it very well. Same with Hakanpää, but OEL can move the puck really well. Like, they've added guys in the lineup here where they can kind of match them with other
V2.
players. Yeah, we'll see.
I think he'll be better. OEL will be better than Klingberg.
Yeah, definitely. He's also healthy and plays like he's healthy. So we'll see.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. OEL, I don't know. A lot of people are giving him a bad rep because he was playing lower in the Florida lineup. He was on their power play. He looked good. He scored goals for them in the Stanley Cup final. I think it was a good signing.
He'll be an everyday defenseman for the Leafs, and he'll be good. So it's
barring an injury. But
I don't really care about the money because it's not my money, and ultimately the contracts were asinine anyway, given out this free agency period. So
yeah, if you look around the league,
even though the Leafs did give out two pretty risky contracts, all things considered.
There's a couple.
Well,
but if you look at other teams,
but yeah, it's all. I mean, Tanner's not even that risky. I don't even mind it.
The one we were kind of freaking out about, I don't know if it was on stream or not, but we were talking about Edmondson, I think it was, to LA. Like, it was just egregious, just an egregious contract, and then Lyubushkin too, just so bad. I don't know. I don't understand the contracts, so I feel better about
Hall coming to Toronto. I think we did a video on that. We'll probably do another
video on that.
I would love that.
I think that's interesting, man. Chicago can they can retain salary. They want younger players.
Robertson for Hall.
Robertson, right? They want younger players. They can retain salary. Like I said, he's in his contract year. So incentive to play well on top of there's no risk really. Like, you just get him, and if it doesn't work out, he's a free agent. Although you're giving up for him, of course. But he would still make $3 million, even if they retained half. If they're retaining half, you got to give up quite a bit. So I don't know if it works out perfectly, but I feel like if they got like maybe a third team involved, like, you can make it work. You could definitely make it work versus like last year or the year before. This year, I think you could definitely make it work, but we'll see.
If Yanni deals fall through, Klingberg on a 1-year league minimum might not be bad. I can't see it. It'd be funny. Do you guys think they need to stop making contracts and no trade clauses? I think if they didn't, we would be able to trade Marner. We wouldn't have all this controversy. I mean, as a blanket statement, sure, but at the end of the day, it was Kyle Dubas' fault for not trading Marner because the no trade clause only kicked in this year. So it's like they had lots of time to trade him. Well, they really had the one off season that they should have, but they could have done it the year before, but the value would have been even higher. Like, now his value is at not an all-time low because he's still performing well, but low compared to where it should have been because of the no move clause.
Yeah, it's because of the narrative around him, the no trade clause, and you can't send them to any team, right? So it's kind of down. But I think if you look at the NBA, there's like 2 players with no trade clauses or something, and the league is a lot better in that way. Like, free agency and trade deadline is crazy because anyone's up for grabs.
And Bradley Beal is the only 2.
Yeah, so which is a crazy list if you really think about it. But yeah, I think the NHL as a product, entertainment wise, would be a lot better if there's no trade clauses, but I feel like it's gone too far now where they can't get rid of it. Like, too many players have it for long periods of time.
Yeah, it's wild.
They would have to change something in the CBA, and I feel like the players would not be down with that. So I feel like it's probably not going to happen, but I feel like some players are really open to being moved sometimes, because in hockey especially, sometimes you just need to change the scenery to make it work. So to touch on Matt Murray quickly, as Shane
video on that as well.
Yeah, and also Yeah, video on that coming later this week for sure. I think when healthy, Matt Murray is a way better goaltender than almost anyone in the Leafs organization when healthy. When healthy. The skill is still definitely there. I'm saying that. He's come out and said that his hips feel better than they did even when he won Stanley Cups now. So I don't know what that means. I'm not getting my hopes up, but the reason they signed him is because obviously the skill is still there if he's healthy. And because he was so injured, there was a different type of contract that they could offer him, which was less than league minimum, I think, a little bit. And they can get out from under it if he were to get injured again this year. So really low risk for the Leafs. And if he plays really well, fantastic. That's great. And I think Stolarz is going to be a great goalie too. And if Woll stays healthy, Woll and Murray, it's the same type of thing. When they're healthy, they're fantastic. They're great goalies, but they got to play, right? So
and they had to they never do that.
Yeah. So do that. And they should be fine.
John Tavares is going to be assistant captain. Yes, sir, Corey. He was officially named assistant captain. If Marner and Crosby don't sign and walk, do we get Crosby? I would love that. I'm loving the dreaming there, Eric. I would love that. That'd be great. Where was Brendan at the press conference? He was there.
He was there, but he wasn't speaking. I don't know if it was appropriate for him to speak today anyway. So I feel like it'd be taking thunder away from the actual topic of discussion. So yeah, I'm not worried about that. Over under, I thought this was funny, Nick. Yeah, over under on Marner getting benched during a game this season.
Gonna happen like 2.5.
And it never has happened. So I'm excited.
But that's less of a product of him, I think, and more of a product of Craig Berube, probably. I feel like he's gonna be benching everybody besides Auston Matthews. I feel like he's not gonna
bench. Well, if you watched old, no, I think he would. I think he would, honestly. If you watch the old St. Louis Blues games, not old, like 5 years ago or whatever, he did that. So if you're not going that night, you're not going to play. The guys who do want to play will play, and that's the way it should be. So I
wonder what the players are thinking of that internally. They're probably pumped, really, to have someone who's.
I think they're pumped.
They're all like good friends with Sheldon Keefe, kind of. But
yeah.
Let's win a hockey.
But I think that's dangerous territory when because that Amazon documentary, I keep bringing it back to that. I feel like Keefe was like, "Hey, we have a problem. We got to fix it," and they were like, "Listen up, buddy. Listen up, pal. Okay, best friend. We're good. We're good." And they didn't listen to him, and then they didn't listen to him for the next 4 years, and now we're here. So. We'll see how that shakes out with Berube, but he's a proven winner too. He's won a Stanley Cup, so I feel like the players would be pumped. Like he knows what he's doing. I'll listen to this guy, so we'll see.
What about Revo trade talks? Maybe. There's been some rumors. We made some videos, or a video. I think I saw. No, you were there for that one. But it was interesting. Big Austin. I keep saying Austin Reeves. Ryan Reeves.
Unless they're in a really bad cap crunch, I don't see them trading him just for the vibes. Because I feel like he played a big part last year in certain ways.
Yeah, aside from a Nick Robertson trade, I don't think anything's going to come out. No. Maybe a different, like a Liljegren trade or something, depending on what happens with.
Right.
Anyways, this might be a good time to wrap it up. Anybody have any final questions? Shout out to Jose and shout out to Paul for the donations. A very good stream. Our first one back. We were at 100 viewers most of the time. We're going to be doing weekly streams once a week. You have our word. I'm putting it in there, Darius.
I would say until the season starts, we'll do every Wednesday. We'll hold ourselves to that, and then once the season starts, we'll play with it based on when the games are played.
Season's going to be probably more stream. Like it depends. It's going to be less random times. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. If Riley cross checks a guy in the face again during a game, we might stream that game right after that game. So it depends on the game and the matchup and stuff. And maybe some collaborations coming too. Just throwing that out there. We'll see.
Some foreshadowing.
Yes.
Any final thoughts? Well, we'll have a video for you guys tonight and tomorrow and every day. You know how it is with that. But Reveal's the type of player Berube and Treliving covet. He's not going anywhere. That is a thing. It is a very much so a Berube player. That's a thing now. Yeah. All right. Shout out. You said that before. I'm holding my breath. Yeah. Well, I did. Vacations. That's why.
Then we went on vacation. Yeah.
2 long ones.
We'll still bring the content.
One of us will be there every Wednesday. It might be solo sometimes. It might because stuff happens. But we'll try to be live at least once a week until the season starts. Especially now we're getting closer. But Shane, you still got the daily videos. We haven't missed one of those in months. So.
And even when the season starts, it'll be at least once a week. It's just depending on the day or the game, right? It could be more. So we'll definitely see how that shakes out. And yes, we'll get the call-ins rolling. Maybe during the season, Nick. We'll see. No promises. I'm not gonna date anything, but we'll see.
Yeah, and everyone will come back for the next stream, and hopefully we see all you here, and we can continue to come up with a nickname for Auston Matthews.
If you come up with one in our next stream, please put it in the comments. Yeah.
All right, take it easy. Have a good work day, school, chilling, whatever.